Something many can agree on is that the Star Wars canon lacks strong queer representation. That said, we can't deny that some within the Lucasfilm team are trying to promote it. As a queer person who loves Star Wars, it's something I expect consistently from the franchise moving forward. I don't want to see shows that do represent us getting canceled or completely removed from Disney Plus like Owl House and Willow. It doesn't bode well for Disney or Lucasfilm if this trend bleeds into Star Wars just as we are finally getting the representation we deserve. The best way for us to ensure this doesn't happen is to show up and support the shows and movies that do showcase queerness on the big screen. To help with that, I've compiled a list of confirmed LGBTQ+ characters that have appeared either in a Star Wars movie or TV show. The first two characters are a source of controversy within the fan community, and I feel like by simply saying that, most people will already know who I'm talking about, even if they don't know the characters' names. They were a result of queerbaiting, pure and simple. J.J. Abrams, a man I've lost a considerable amount of respect for, said this.
But when it came time to casting, it felt like it was the right thing to do, to find a cast that looked more the way the world looks than not. And in the case of the LGBTQ community, it was important to me that people who go to see this movie feel that they're being represented in the film.
And this is what we got. Needless to say, people weren't happy. This isn't strong representation. This is two background characters in a throwaway moment. Though this doesn't mean that these women aren't pioneers of queerness in Star Wars, because they are. We have to do with them the same thing we have to do with the entire sequel trilogy. Acknowledge that it happened whether we liked it or not, accept it as canon, and move on. So who are these two? Commander Larma Daisy is a human woman from the planet Warlenta. Not much is known about this planet other than that it's a planet in the New Territories region of the Mid-Rim. Relatively speaking, it sits close to Mapuzo, the mining planet first introduced in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. Warlenta notably refused to join the New Republic after the end of the Galactic Civil War, and Larma's family were charged with protecting the Warlenta system, as they had a distinguished military background. Her father was a noted critic of Mon Mothma's demilitarization plans for the New Republic. Her family and planet's reputation, as well as Larma's own accomplishments, brought her to the attention of General Leia Organa and the Resistance. Her first appearance was in Episode 8, The Last Jedi, where she was stationed on the bridge of the Resistance flagship Raddus, an MC-85 starcruiser. In this movie, she had a fairly important speaking role. However, in The Rise of Skywalker, her role was diminished somewhat.
She's gone.
Lieutenant Robbie Tice is a human woman also from the planet Warlenta. She is married to Commander Daisy and was a courier pilot prior to following her wife into the Resistance. She flew an RZ-2A wing in the Cobalt Squadron and became its lone surviving member after the rest were killed in the retreat from Dakar. She was away on a separate mission at the time. She first appears in Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, after Poe Dameron takes command of the Resistance. This was her first of two lines.
So how do the ships take off?
They use a signal from a navigation tower like this one.
The second being during the Battle of Exegol.
You won't make it!
Trust me, I'm fast!
The scene that made these two infamous was during the celebration after the battle, where she and her wife can be seen kissing in the background of a blink and you'll miss it shot. Despite their unfortunate introduction into the canon, I hope to see more of them in the future as prominent characters. I think not introducing them in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series as members of the Hidden Path was a missed opportunity, given their proximity to Mapuzo and history with the Jedi. Vice Admiral Amelin Holdo was a human woman from the planet Gadalenta in the Arrowhead region of the Core Worlds. She came from a culture known for its calisthenics practice of skyfaring, in which participants used scarves to climb wooden scaffolding and suspend themselves in midair. Traditionally, Gadalentans started learning skyfaring as very young children, and it often acted as a meditative and spiritual process. In her youth, Amelin rebelled against the societal norms of serenity, simplicity, and quiet introspection by wearing eccentric clothes and dyeing her hair vibrant colors. It wasn't until later in life that she more fully embraced the culture of her people, though she still dyed her hair. She was sent to represent Gadalenta in the Apprentice Leadership, also known as the Junior Senate. It was a program originally founded under the Republic to train politically minded youth. This is when she first encountered Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan. While Amelin never speaks openly about her sexuality on screen, she does in the book Leia, Princess of Alderaan. Leia tells her she prefers human males, and Amelin replies by saying how, quote, limiting that was.
May the Force be with you, always.
They would join forces again when the threat of the First Order loomed over the New Republic. She would be given command of the Free Virgilia-class cruiser Ninka. Thus, when most of the Resistance High Command was killed in the attack on the Raddus, she was the next in line for command. Ultimately, while her appearance on the big screen was short-lived, Vice Admiral Holdo will go down in history as an iconic character for saving the lives of many of her fellow Resistance members while they fled to the planet Crate. In a suicide run, she collided with the opposing Imperial fleet at light speed and destroyed 20 Star Destroyers in the process. This heroic moment became known as the Holdo Maneuver. While her book debut released 2 months prior to The Last Jedi, it's a shame that our first time seeing her on the big screen was also the last time, as she was another victim of the bury your gaze trope. It would have made more sense and have been more impactful for Leia to stay behind, given her status as highest-ranking general. This would have left Holdo to remain at the head of the Resistance and appear in The Rise of Skywalker. Sabe, formerly known as Sabin, was a human woman from the planet Naboo in the trailing sector of the Mid-Rim. Per her family's traditions, she was sent to study music at the Theed Conservatory, a school known for training traditional musicians. Fortunately for her, she was plucked from obscurity when Padme Amidala was elected queen due to her uncanny resemblance to her. In the book Queen's Peril, Sabe meets Harley Jaffin, a representative from the nearby planet Jaffin. The two develop romantic feelings for each other, but a poorly timed body double switch led Harley to attempt to kiss Padme, who recoiled, upsetting Harley and ultimately ruining the relationship for Sabe. It became a sore point between them that was eventually overcome. Sabe's first and final appearance on screen was in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, though this time was enough to make her a fan favorite. For most of the movie, it's actually Sabe, not Padme, portraying Queen Amidala. This was the role Padme had created for her handmaidens. All were combat trained and capable of protecting the queen, but Sabe was often her body double, and continued to serve her even after her 2 terms were over. Sometime after Padme's death, Sabe's long and tumultuous partnership with Darth Vader began. Initially, she attempted to lure him into a trap and kill him, but when that didn't work, she joined him in the search for answers concerning the nature of Padme's death. Throughout the course of her partnership with Vader, Sabe is conflicted. At the climax of this conflict, the other handmaidens attempt to convince her to leave Vader and come away with them. But this leads to their deaths and Sabe being thrown out to sea, where she presumably dies.
Viceroy, your occupation here has ended.
Flix is a male Gotso, a species native to the planet Dragor 3 in the Transhydian region of the Outer Rim. He came from a family of fuel refiners, but found this life to be backwards, and left the planet in the hopes of becoming a cantina singer. Orca is a male Chadra-Fan from the Outer Rim planet of Chad, in a region known as the Slice. Nothing is really known about his life prior to his appearance on screen, but his species has been seen before in Episode 6, A New Hope. The two made their TV appearance in the lesser-known show Star Wars Resistance. We can only guess at how they met prior to the show, but it would be safe to assume that it was near their home planets, given their proximity and the fact that both planets are all the way across the galaxy from Castellon, a planet near wild space in the Mid-Rim, and the setting of Star Wars Resistance. Together, the pair run the Office of Acquisitions aboard the Colossus, a supertanker refueling station. They appear many times throughout the show as supporting characters and certainly act like a married couple who've been together a long time. While the true nature of their relationship is never explicitly stated on the show, during the Coffee with Kenobi podcast, producers Justin Ridge and Brandon Allman confirmed that the two were in a romantic relationship. It would have been nice to see this play out on screen, but it's better than nothing. I do, however, hope that this news wasn't part of the reason for the show's cancellation, which was announced mere days after this interview. Maybe that's just me being hypercritical of Disney in this regard, but it's hard not to be, given their track record.
We're being sent to my mother's on Talavar. This place is just too stormtroopery for our liking.
Vel Sartha is a female human from the planet Chandrilla in the Northern Dependencies region of the Core Worlds. She was the heiress to a wealthy family and cousin to well-known Senator Mon Mothma, but she left all that behind to join the rebellion and lead her own team under the supervision of Luthen Rael. She appears in the TV series Andor and meets the titular character when he is placed on her team for a mission on Aldhani. During the preparation for this mission, we learn that Vel is sharing a blanket with fellow rebel and team member Cintra. Not much is known about Cintra's origin in the canon, so we have no idea where she is from or how she came to join the rebellion. It may be safe to assume that she is from one of the core worlds, such as Coruscant or Hosnian Prime, but my current guess is Gadalenta, given her quiet introspectiveness that is central to the culture on that planet. As the story of Andor progressed, we get to see more of Vel and Cintra's relationship. Cintra was very much mission-focused, placing the success of the rebellion and the mission above her relationship, while Vel was much more open and vulnerable where Cintra was concerned and struggled with her priorities at times. This dynamic made for a powerful and near-perfect depiction of a queer relationship on screen. It wasn't the focus, nor did it distract from the actual plot, but it was clearly defined on screen and not shied away from. These aren't token characters thrown in to bait queer people into watching. They make sense within the context of the show, and I can't wait to see them again in Season 2, which will take us right into the events of Rogue One.
Tell me you'll be all right.
I'll be fine. Go.
So there you have it. These are the 8 queer characters that appear canonically on screen. The list gets longer if you include the canon books and comics, but that will have to be a video for another day. Thanks for watching and happy Pride Month! If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment your favorite queer characters in Star Wars. You can also find more of my content on grimwolfgaming.com. May the Pride be with you.